The council chamber was silent. Representatives from 47 different species sat in their designated seats, watching the holographic display at the center of the room. The display showed a vast section of space marked in red, Sector 7 Terra, the Forbidden Zone. Admiral Day-Wan stood before them, his uniform crisp and decorated with medals from 3 different campaigns. He was young for an admiral, only 35 cycles old, but he had proven himself in battle many times. His dark eyes stared at the council members with determination. "I request permission to investigate the signal," Day-Wan said. His voice was firm and clear. The council members shifted in their seats. An old Thraxian counselor, his scales gray with age, raised one clawed hand. "Admiral, you know the law. No one enters human space. This has been our most sacred rule for 300 years. With respect, counselor, the law was made when we didn't understand why the humans left," Day-Wan replied. "We've detected what appears to be a distress beacon. It's coming from just inside the boundary. If humans are in danger, shouldn't we help?" A Valorian counselor, her crystalline form glowing softly, spoke next. "The humans didn't ask for help. They asked to be left alone. After the silence, after they withdrew from all contact, they made their wishes clear." Day-Wan pulled up another display. "Look at this data. The signal matches old human distress codes from before the silence. Something might have gone wrong. What if they need us now?" Behind Day-Wan, his second-in-command, Quan, stood quietly. He was older, more experienced, and his face showed worry. Quan had served with Day-Wan for 10 years and knew his admiral well. Too well. He knew Day-Wan wasn't just concerned about helping humans. He wanted to discover their secrets. Before the silence, humans had been everywhere in the galaxy. They explored, traded, and shared knowledge freely. Their technology was impressive, though not the most advanced. Their ships were fast. Their weapons were effective. But what made humans special was their adaptability. They could survive anywhere, learn anything, and make friends with almost any species. Then, 3 centuries ago, they simply stopped. All human ships returned home. All human colonies were abandoned. They erected a massive barrier around their space using technology no one had seen before. When other species tried to contact them, they received only one message: "Do not enter. For your safety and ours, stay away." Some species tried to break through anyway. Their ships were destroyed instantly with such precision and power that it terrified the galaxy. After that, the Galactic Council made it official. Sector 7 Terra was forbidden. No one could enter for any reason. Over time, humans became legends. Stories were told about their abilities, their technology, and why they left. Some said they had discovered something dangerous. Others believed they had evolved beyond the need for galactic contact. A few thought they had simply died out, and the automated defenses were all that remained. In the council chamber, another voice spoke. It was Hana, the chief xenoarchaeologist of the Valorian Empire. She was younger than Day-Wan, brilliant and obsessed with human culture. She had studied every human artifact, every piece of data from before the silence. "Counselors, I support Admiral Day-Wan's request," Hana said, stepping forward. "We have a responsibility to investigate. If humans are in danger, we must help. And if this signal can tell us what happened 300 years ago, we owe it to ourselves to find out." The council erupted in arguments. Some supported the mission. Most opposed it. The debate continued for hours. Finally, the Thraxian counselor raised his hand for silence. "The council will vote. But understand this, Admiral Day-Wan. If we allow this mission, you will take full responsibility for any consequences. The blood of civilizations could be on your hands." The vote was close. 24 in favor, 23 against. The mission was approved. Quan followed Day-Wan out of the chamber. "Sir, I must speak freely. This is a mistake." Day-Wan kept walking, his boots echoing in the corridor. "Your objection is noted, Commander." "Sir, the humans withdrew for a reason. What if we're not supposed to know that reason?" Day-Wan stopped and turned to face his second-in-command. "Quan, our entire fleet operates on technology we barely understand because the humans shared it with us before they left. Medical advances, energy systems, faster-than-light drives, all improved because of human knowledge. Imagine what else they know now. What they've discovered in 300 years of isolation. And if they've discovered something terrible, then we'll deal with it," Day-Wan said. "I didn't become the youngest admiral in the fleet by being afraid of the unknown." Quan sighed. He knew that tone. The decision was made. and nothing would change Daewon's mind. 2 weeks later, a fleet of 5 ships gathered at the edge of the Forbidden Zone. They were good ships, well-armed and fast. Daewon commanded from the flagship the Eternal Dawn. Quan commanded the second vessel. Hana was aboard the Eternal Dawn with her research team, eager to finally see human space with her own eyes. The barrier that marked the boundary was visible even in normal space, a shimmering wall of energy that extended in all directions. Beyond it, sensors showed nothing. The barrier blocked all scans. All ships prepare to cross, Daewon ordered. Proceed at half speed. Stay in formation. Weapons ready but not armed. We come in peace. The 5 ships moved forward together. As they approached the barrier, Hana held her breath. This was the moment she had dreamed about for years. The ships touched the barrier and passed through. For a moment, everything seemed normal. Then every screen on every ship lit up simultaneously. An image appeared, a simple symbol, a circle with a line through it. The universal symbol for stop. Then came the voice. It spoke in every language known to the galaxy, each ship's crew hearing it in their own tongue. Turn back. This is your only warning. The message repeated 3 times, then the screens went dark. Hana looked at Daewon. His jaw was set, his eyes focused forward. She knew he wouldn't turn back now. Continue forward, Daewon ordered. All ships maintain formation. Quan's voice came over the communication system. Sir, that was a warning. We should reconsider. Noted, Commander. Continue forward. The fleet pushed deeper into human space. Behind them, the barrier shimmered and sealed shut. Unknown to them, on a distant human station, alarms began to sound. Protocols that had waited 300 years to activate suddenly came to life. The rule had been broken. And the humans knew. The fleet moved through empty space for 2 days. Their sensors picked up strange readings everywhere. Old satellites watched them. Ancient defense platforms tracked their movement. But nothing attacked. Nothing communicated. The silence was worse than any battle Daewon had ever fought. On the 3rd day, they found the source of the distress signal. It was a small station orbiting a dead moon. The station looked old, covered in cosmic dust and pitted by micrometeorite impacts. But it was still broadcasting. Scan it, Daewon ordered. Full analysis. The science officer studied her screens carefully. Sir, the station is at least 200 years old. Life support is minimal. No life signs detected. But the distress beacon is definitely coming from there. Hana leaned forward eagerly. Can we board it? We could, the science officer replied. But sir, I'm picking up something else. There are debris fields all around this system. Ship debris. Some of it is old, very old. But some pieces are only decades old. Quan's voice crackled over the communication system. Admiral, I'm seeing the same thing. These debris patterns suggest at least 3 different attempts to enter this sector. All of them failed. Daewon felt a chill run down his spine but didn't show it. Noted, we proceed carefully. Prepare a boarding team for the station. Before anyone could respond, every alarm on the ship screamed to life. Something was approaching fast. Very fast, contact, the tactical officer shouted. Small vessel coming from deeper in the system. Sir, it's already here. On the main screen, a ship appeared. It was sleek and silver, small but clearly advanced. It moved with impossible grace, coming to a stop exactly 1 kilometer from the Eternal Dawn. No ship should be able to move like that, to stop that quickly without tearing itself apart. Sir, they're hailing us, the communication officer said, her voice shaking slightly. Open the channel, Daewon commanded. The screen changed. A woman appeared. She was human, no doubt about it. She had the typical features, smooth skin, dark hair, and eyes that held intelligence and something else. Sadness, maybe. I am G1, diplomatic officer of the Human Collective, she said. Her voice was calm and measured. You have entered protected space. You must leave immediately. Daewon stood facing the screen. I am Admiral Daewon of the Valorian Empire. We received a distress signal from this location. We came to help. G1's expression didn't change. That signal is a test. It's been broadcasting for 150 years. No help is needed, then why send it? Hana asked, stepping beside Daewon. G1's eyes shifted to Hana. To see who would be foolish enough to come. To measure curiosity against wisdom. You failed the test. We meant no harm, Daewon said. We only wanted to ensure you were safe. Safe? G1 said. There was a hint of bitter humor in her voice. We left to keep you safe. All of you. And now you've broken the one rule that protected you. Protected us from what? Hana demanded. Jiwon was quiet for a moment. From us, from what we became. Request permission to board your ship. I'll explain as much as I can. Daewon glanced at Kwon on another screen. His second-in-command shook his head firmly. Daewon ignored him. Permission granted. 20 minutes later, Jiwon materialized in the Eternal Dawn's teleportation bay. The technology was impressive. The Valorians had teleportation, but it was short-range and unreliable. Jiwon had transported from her ship instantly, without any visible strain. She was escorted to the conference room where Daewon, Kwon, and Hana waited. When she entered, Hana immediately noticed something strange. She pulled up her datapad and quickly searched through old records. Jiwon sat down calmly. She wore a simple gray uniform with no weapons visible, but Daewon had no doubt she was dangerous. Explain, Daewon said. Why did you leave? What happened 300 years ago? Jiwon folded her hands on the table. We discovered something. Something wonderful and terrible. We found a way to expand human consciousness, to connect our minds in ways never thought possible. We created a new form of existence. That sounds amazing, Hana said. Why hide that? Because it comes with a price, Jiwon replied. And because it's contagious. The room fell silent. Kwon leaned forward. Contagious? You mean it spreads? To any sufficiently advanced species, yes. The knowledge itself is infectious. Once you truly understand it, once you see what we see, you can't unsee it. And it changes you, fundamentally. Daewon frowned. And you think we're too primitive to handle it? No, Jiwon said. We think you deserve to remain who you are. Every species has the right to develop on their own terms, at their own pace. What we discovered forces change. Immediate, irreversible change. Hana was still staring at her datapad. Suddenly she looked up, her face pale. Jiwon. According to our records, there was a human diplomatic officer named Jiwon before the silence. She would be over 200 years old now. Jiwon looked at Hana and smiled sadly. Yes, I am her. The changes we made extend life considerably. I was part of the first wave. I volunteered to stay at the border to warn those who came. 200 years? Kwon whispered. That's impossible. Many things are possible when you change the fundamental nature of consciousness, Jiwon said. Before anyone could respond, new alarms sounded. The tactical officer's voice came over the intercom. Admiral, multiple contacts. Large ships approaching fast. Everyone rushed to the bridge. The main screen showed 3 massive vessels emerging from deeper in the system. They dwarfed the Valorian ships. Their hulls were black, covered in weapons that hummed with barely contained energy. Jiwon sighed. They're here. The military response, a new face appeared on screen. A man older than Jiwon in appearance with hard eyes and a stern expression. He wore a military uniform, black with silver insignia. I am Commander Teo of the Human Defense Fleet. All foreign vessels, you are ordered to power down your weapons and engines immediately. You will be escorted to the border and expelled from human space. Daewon straightened. Commander Teo, I am Admiral Daewon. We came in peace, responding to what we believed was a distress signal. Your intentions are irrelevant, Teo said coldly. You have violated the quarantine protocol. Power down now or we will disable your ships by force. We're leaving, Kwon said quickly. Admiral, we should go. Now. Daewon wanted to argue, wanted to learn more, but he saw the wisdom in retreat. Commander Teo, we will comply. We're powering down weapons now. Too late, Teo said, and his voice carried genuine regret. Your presence has triggered automatic protocols. Quarantine procedures are now in effect. What does that mean? Hana asked Jiwon. Jiwon closed her eyes. It means you've been here too long. You've been exposed. We can't let you leave until we're certain you're not infected. Infected with what? Daewon demanded. The knowledge, Jiwon said quietly. The idea. It spreads through proximity, through exposure to human technology and spaces. You've been inside the barrier for 3 days. That might be enough. On the main screen, Teo continued. All crew members will be evaluated. If any show signs of infection, your entire fleet will be quarantined indefinitely. This is not a threat, Admiral. This is protocol. You were warned. What happens next isn't our choice. It's yours. You chose to enter. Now you must face the consequences. Daewon felt his blood run cold. Behind him, Hana gasped. She was staring at her hands, turning them over slowly as if seeing them for the first time. Hana, Quan said. Are you all right? I don't know, she whispered. I'm thinking things. Seeing things. Connections I never noticed before. It's like my mind is expanding, reaching out. Is this normal? Ji-won moved quickly to Hana's side, examining her eyes. How long have you been feeling this? Since I came aboard your ship, Hana said. No, before that. Since we crossed the barrier. But it's getting stronger. Ji-won looked at Teo on the screen. Her face showed emotions for the first time. Fear. Commander, we have a confirmed exposure. The xenoarchaeologist. She's sensitive to it. Teo's expression darkened. Begin full quarantine procedures. Admiral Day 1, I'm sorry, but your fleet cannot leave, not now, possibly not ever. In the asteroid belt beyond them, something massive stirred. Systems that had slept for centuries awakened. Lights flickered to life across the surface of what appeared to be a small moon. But it wasn't a moon at all, it was a station. A human arc station. And it was aimed directly at them. The massive structure hung in space like a sleeping giant. It was at least 50 kilometers long, covered in layers of metal and strange geometric patterns that seemed to shift when looked at directly. The arc station had been disguised as an asteroid for so long that cosmic dust had actually accumulated on its surface. But now that dust was falling away as the station powered up, Daewon's tactical officer was breathing hard. Sir, energy readings are off the scale. That thing has enough power to destroy our entire fleet 100 times over. Why isn't it firing? Quan asked from his ship. Teo's face remained on the main screen. Because destruction isn't our goal, Commander. It never has been. The arc station is here to contain, not to kill. But if your admiral continues to make bad choices, we'll have no option. Ji-won was helping Hana to a chair. The xenoarchaeologist was trembling, her eyes wide and unfocused. Too much, Hana whispered. I can see too much. The connections, the patterns, they're everywhere. Focus on my voice, Ji-won said gently. Ground yourself in the present moment. Don't let your mind wander through the possibilities. Daewon watched this exchange with growing concern. What's happening to her? The first stage of cascade infection, Ji-won replied. Her mind is trying to process new ways of thinking, new patterns of consciousness. If we don't stabilize her, she'll lose herself in the experience. Another voice came over the communication system. This is Dr. Yuna, medical officer of the Human Collective. I'm requesting permission to beam aboard with emergency medical supplies. Daewon looked at Quan on the secondary screen. His second-in-command's face showed all the stress Daewon felt. Admiral, we're trapped here anyway. We might as well get answers. Permission granted, Daewon said. Yuna appeared in the teleportation bay moments later with 2 large cases of equipment. She was younger looking than Ji-won, with bright eyes and quick movements. Another officer came with her, a man who introduced himself as Sang-woo. They rushed to the conference room where Hana sat. Yuna immediately began scanning Hana with devices that looked nothing like standard medical equipment. Neural pathways are restructuring, Yuna said. Cascade markers present in frontal lobe activity. She's definitely infected. She looked at Daewon. Has anyone else experienced unusual thoughts? Sudden insights? Feelings of connection to systems or patterns you never noticed before? The crew members looked at each other nervously. One of the junior officers raised his hand slowly. I think I have, Doctor. Since we crossed the barrier, I've been able to predict system failures before they happen. Like I can feel the ship's status without checking instruments. Yuna scanned him quickly. Early-stage infection. You're 2 of at least a dozen cases on this ship alone. She turned to Sang-woo. We need full medical containment. All ships, Sang-woo nodded and began coordinating with Teo. Within minutes, human medical teams were boarding all 5 Valorian ships. Daewon felt control of the situation slipping away. Enough! Someone explain what this cascade is. What did you do to yourselves 300 years ago? Yuna finished giving Hana an injection that seemed to calm her. Then she stood and faced Daewon. We became something new. Do you want to see? Without waiting for an answer, Yuna pulled out a small device and activated it. A holographic display appeared in the air, showing Earth and the human colonies as they were 3 centuries ago. We were like you then, Yuna said. Curious, exploratory, always pushing boundaries. We made friends across the galaxy, shared everything we learned. Then our scientists discovered something in quantum mechanics, a way to link consciousness across space and time. The display shifted, showing complex diagrams that hurt to look at. The patterns seemed to move and breathe, even though they were just light. At first, it was just an experiment, Una continued. A few volunteers trying to share thoughts directly. It worked better than anyone imagined. Much better. The volunteers didn't just share thoughts. They shared experience, memory, understanding. They became partially connected, forming a network of minds that could think together while remaining individuals. Sang-Woo took over the explanation. The technology spread fast. Everyone wanted to try it. Within 10 years, most of humanity was connected to some degree. We called it the collective consciousness. It was beautiful. Imagine knowing you're never truly alone, that millions of other minds are there if you need them. Imagine being able to solve problems by thinking with thousands of others simultaneously. That sounds amazing, one of the crew members said. Why would you hide that? Yuna's expression grew dark. Because we discovered the cost. The connection wasn't just technological. It was biological, neurological, and something else we still don't fully understand. It changed our brain structure permanently, changed how we process reality itself. The display showed human brains, highlighting structures that didn't exist in other species. These are cascade markers. Once they form, they're permanent. And worse, they're contagious. How? Quan asked. How does brain structure spread? We're still not entirely sure, Sang-Woo admitted. But we know it happens through exposure to specific thought patterns, specific ways of understanding reality. When you're near connected humans, when you use our technology, when you exist in our spaces, your brain begins to adapt, to change, to prepare for connection, Yuna added. And that's just the beginning. Once the changes start, once you begin to see reality the way we see it, the process accelerates. Your mind starts reaching out, trying to connect with the collective. For humans, this is fine. We've evolved with it, adapted to it. For other species, she gestured to Hana, who was calmer now but still looked different somehow. We don't know the full effects. We never wanted to find out. Day one sat down heavily. So you left. You quarantined yourselves to protect us. Yes, Ji-won said. We debated other options. Destroying the technology, reversing the changes. But the truth is, most humans didn't want to go back. The collective consciousness, despite its dangers, despite everything it cost us, made us better. Smarter, more empathetic, more unified. We solved problems we'd struggled with for centuries. We ended poverty, disease, conflict among ourselves. We became post-scarcity almost overnight, Sang-Woo said. When you can share knowledge instantly, when millions of minds can work on a problem together, progress becomes exponential. But you couldn't share it, Quan said quietly. Because sharing it would destroy us. Not destroy, Yuna corrected. Transform. But transformation forced on someone isn't a gift. It's an attack. We decided that every species has the right to develop at their own pace, to make their own choices. So we left, we put up the barrier. We waited, hoping that someday we'd find a cure. A way to share the benefits without the forced transformation. Daewon looked at Hana. She was watching the holographic displays with intense focus, her eyes tracking patterns none of the others could see. Can you cure her? We can slow the cascade, Yuna said. Pause it even. But we can't reverse it completely. She's already seen too much, understood too much. Part of her mind will always work this way now. What about the others who are infected? Same answer. We can keep them functional, keep them themselves, but they'll never be exactly who they were before. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. The tactical officer shouted, Admiral! Multiple contacts. Ships entering the system from outside the barrier. The main screen shifted to show long-range sensors. Dozens of ships were approaching the boundary of human space. They were from different species, different governments. Some Daewon recognized as friendly, others were from hostile powers. Teo's face reappeared on screen, his expression grim. Admiral, your unauthorized entry has been detected by the wider galaxy. Long-range communications were still working even inside the barrier. Now everyone knows the rule has been broken. Some come seeking human technology, Sang-Woo said, checking his own data stream. Others come to ensure humans never leave the barrier. They fear what we've become. And some, Ji-won said softly, come to destroy us while we're distracted by you. They've always feared us. Now they have an excuse. Daewon felt the weight of responsibility crushing down on him. His desire for knowledge, his arrogance in thinking he knew better than 300 years of protocol, had triggered a galactic crisis. Hana suddenly spoke. her voice clearer than it had been. I can see it now. I can see what you see. The patterns, the connections, the web of cause and effect. Admiral, this moment was always coming. If not now, then soon. The barrier was never going to hold forever. She stood steady now and looked at Daewon with eyes that seemed to hold more depth than before. The question isn't whether humanity rejoins the galaxy. It's how, and whether the galaxy is ready for what humanity has become. Outside, the gathered fleets waited at the barrier. Inside, the humans prepared for what might come next. And in the middle, Daewon's small fleet represented the bridge between two eras. The rule had been broken. Now everyone would pay the price. The only question was whether that price would be paid in blood or in understanding. The medical bay of the Eternal Dawn had been transformed into a quarantine zone. Human and Valorian medical staff worked side by side, separated by energy barriers and protective equipment. 12 crew members showed definite signs of cascade infection. Hana was the most advanced case, but she was stable now, thanks to Yuna's treatments. Daewon stood in the observation area, watching through thick glass as Yuna and a new human doctor named Bora worked on another patient. The patient, a young Valorian engineer named Hyun, lay on a medical bed surrounded by scanning equipment. His neural patterns are accelerating, Bora said, studying the displays. She was older than Yuna, with gray streaks in her hair and deep lines around her eyes. The cascade is taking hold faster than expected. Because he's been working directly with our systems, Yuna replied. He's been in the engine room interfacing with the quantum processors. The technology itself carries the patterns. Quan stood beside Daewon, his face set in grim lines. This is what you brought us to, sir. We're trapped here. Our people are being changed against their will, and there's an alien armada gathering outside. I know, Daewon said quietly. I know what I've done. Do you? Quan's voice was sharp. Because I don't think you understand yet. Even if we find a way out of this, even if we survive, we can never go home. We're contaminated. We'd spread this to our families, our friends, our entire civilization. Before Daewon could respond, Teo's voice came over the intercom. Admiral Daewon, report to the conference room immediately. We have a situation. The conference room was crowded. Ji-won, Sang-woo, Yuna, and several other human officers Daewon hadn't met yet were gathered around the holographic display. Teo appeared on screen from his ship. The situation outside the barrier is deteriorating, Teo said without preamble. The Galactic Council has convened an emergency session. Some species are demanding we release you immediately. Others are demanding we keep you forever. And a few are calling for your execution to prevent the spread of contamination. They can't do that, Quan said. The Council laws are debatable when it comes to an existential threat, Teo interrupted. Many species see the cascade as exactly that. And honestly, Admiral, can you blame them? Daewon wanted to argue but found he couldn't. If their positions were reversed, if some alien species had developed a contagious way of thinking that fundamentally changed brains, wouldn't he be terrified too? There's more, Ji-won said. She pulled up new data on the display. 3 ships have already tried to force their way through the barrier. All failed, but they're getting bolder. And there are elements in the galaxy who see this as an opportunity. Opportunity for what? Daewon asked. To eliminate us, Sang-woo said bluntly. Human space is rich in resources. Our technology is valuable. If we're distracted fighting you and defending against an invasion, some governments think they can strike while we're vulnerable. That's insane, Quan said. Your defenses are formidable but not infinite, Teo said. We're not warriors anymore, Commander. We withdrew from the galaxy because we wanted peace, not because we wanted to build an empire. Yes, we can defend ourselves. But a prolonged conflict? That would cost both sides dearly. Hana entered the conference room, walking slowly but steadily. She had been released from medical supervision an hour ago. She looked different now, moved differently. There was a calmness to her that hadn't existed before. I want to help, Hana said. I can feel what's happening to the others. I'm connected to them in small ways now. Maybe I can help stabilize them. Bora entered behind her, carrying a data pad. She's right. The cascade creates natural resonance between infected individuals. Hana's already forming weak connections with the other patients. We could use that. Use it how? Yuna asked. Teach her to guide them, Bora said. Show her how to help their minds adapt without losing themselves. It's risky, but Hana has something we don't. She's experiencing this for the first time. She remembers what it was like before. That perspective could be valuable. Daewon studied Hana carefully. Are you sure you want to do this? You didn't ask for any of this. Hana smiled, and there was something wise in that smile now. Something ancient despite her youth. None of us asked for this, Admiral. But we're here. We have to make the best of it. Over the next few days, Hana worked with Bo-Ra and the other infected crew members. She learned to sense their thoughts, feel their confusion and fear. With Bo-Ra's guidance, she learned to project calmness, to show them how to organize their expanding awareness without being overwhelmed by it. Hyun was the hardest case. His connection to human technology had pushed his cascade further and faster than the others. He lay in the medical bay, unconscious, his mind racing through patterns and possibilities so quickly that he couldn't stay grounded in physical reality. His brain is trying to connect to the collective. Bo-Ra explained to Daewon and Kwon as they watched. But he can't, he's not human. His neural structure is different. So he's caught in between, reaching for something he can't quite grasp. Will he survive? Kwon asked. I don't know, Bo-Ra admitted. We've never had a non-human reach this stage before. We're in uncharted territory. Hana sat beside Hyun's bed, her hand hovering over his forehead. She closed her eyes, focusing. He's lost in the possibilities. He can see a million different outcomes, a million different paths. He doesn't know which is real. Can you help him? Yuna asked. I can try. Hana's breathing slowed. Her expression became distant. Then she began to speak softly in a language none of them recognized. Or rather, not a language at all, but patterns of sound that seemed to carry meaning beyond words. Hyun's vital signs began to stabilize. His rapid eye movement slowed. Color returned to his face. What is she doing? Daewon whispered to Bo-Ra. She's teaching him to filter. Bo-Ra replied with wonder in her voice. She's showing him how to focus on one reality at a time. How to be present instead of lost in potentials. After an hour, Hana pulled back, exhausted but smiling. Hyun's eyes opened. He looked around, confused but conscious. Welcome back, Hana said gently. I saw everything, Hyun whispered. All the choices, all the paths. How do you live with this? One moment at a time, Hana replied. Just like before. It's just that now each moment contains more. Bo-Ra was recording everything frantically. This is it. This is what we've been missing for 300 years. What do you mean? Yuna asked. The cure, Bo-Ra said excitedly. Or at least the key to it. We couldn't develop a cure because we couldn't understand what it was like to not have the cascade. We're all connected, all thinking in these patterns. We forgot what it was like to think differently. She turned to face Daewon. Your people, the infected ones, they're bridges. They have one foot in our world and one foot in yours. They remember both ways of thinking. If we can study them, understand how their brains are adapting, we might finally be able to create a true vaccine. A vaccine? Kwon's eyes widened. You mean a way to prevent the cascade without preventing contact? Exactly, Bo-Ra said. We could interact with the galaxy again. Share our knowledge. Be part of the community we left behind. But we'd need volunteers, Yuna added. People willing to undergo the cascade process under controlled conditions while we study them. It would be dangerous. Some might not survive. Daewon thought about this carefully. He thought about his crew infected through his arrogance. He thought about the fleet gathering outside, ready to destroy or die. He thought about 300 years of isolation and fear. I volunteer, he said. Everyone turned to stare at him. Kwon's mouth fell open. Sir, you can't be serious. I am, Daewon said firmly. This is my responsibility. My crew is infected because of my choices. If their suffering can lead to a cure, then I should share in it. Admiral, Kwon started. That's an order, Commander, Daewon said. If I don't survive, you take command. Get the crew home if you can. Tell them what we discovered here. Teo's face appeared on the screen. For the first time, Daewon saw respect in the human commander's eyes. Admiral, that's a brave offer. But are you sure? Once you begin, there's no going back. I'm sure, Daewon said. And I want it done quickly before I lose my nerve. Bo-Ra began preparing immediately. As Daewon was led to the medical bay, Hana stopped him. I'll be there with you, she said. When the cascade takes hold, when you feel lost, I'll be there to guide you back. I promise. Daewon nodded, grateful. As he lay on the medical bed and Bo-Ra began the procedure, his last clear thought was simple. Perhaps some rules were meant to be broken. Perhaps this was always the path forward. Perhaps 300 years of isolation had been necessary for humanity to learn what they were becoming. And perhaps it took an arrogant admiral to break down the walls that should have been doors all along. Then the cascade hit him, and thinking became something entirely new. Daewon opened his eyes to a universe that made sense in ways it never had before. He could see the energy flows through the ship, feel the quantum processors humming in harmony with each other. More than that, he could sense the crew, their thoughts, their fears, their hopes all broadcasting like gentle signals in his expanded awareness. It was overwhelming, beautiful and terrifying in equal measure. Breathe. Hana's voice came to him, not through his ears but through something deeper. Ground yourself in your body. Remember who you were. Daewon focused on breathing, on the feeling of the medical bed beneath him, on the familiar weight of his own existence. Slowly, the chaos organized itself into patterns he could manage. How long? He asked, his voice rough. 3 days, Bora said, checking her instruments. You went deeper into the cascade than any non-human we've seen. We almost lost you twice, but I survived. You did. And the data we gathered is extraordinary. Bora's eyes shone with excitement. Admiral, I think we have it. The foundation for a vaccine. Over the next week, Daewon recovered while Bora worked around the clock with her team. The Admiral learned to live with his expanded awareness, to filter the constant stream of information his enhanced mind now processed. Hana helped him, and together they helped the other infected crew members adapt. But outside the barrier, the situation was deteriorating rapidly. Quan had taken command of the fleet's defensive operations. He reported to Daewon in the medical bay where the Admiral was finally strong enough to sit up. Sir, the fleet outside has grown to over 200 ships, Quan said. The Galactic Council is deadlocked. Half want to negotiate with the humans. Half want to see this entire sector sterilized before the cascade can spread. They're afraid, Daewon said. He could feel it now, even through the barrier, the fear radiating from those gathered ships like heat from a star. Can you blame them? Quan asked. You've been changed, sir. We all see it. You're still you, but you're also something more, something other. Something different doesn't mean something wrong, Daewon replied. You taught me that once, remember? When we encountered the crystalline species on Valara Prime. You said that difference should be celebrated, not feared. Quan looked away. That was before the difference became contagious. Before Daewon could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. Teo's face appeared on every screen, his expression grave. All stations battle alert. The Corvan Empire has launched an attack on the barrier. They're trying to force entry into human space. Daewon struggled to his feet, Hana supporting him. How many ships? 50 warships, their entire third fleet, Teo replied. They're claiming this is a preemptive strike to protect the galaxy. But intelligence suggests they're really after human technology and resources. What's the human response? Quan demanded. Supreme Commander Jinnah has activated the full defensive network, Teo said. All ARC stations are coming online. Through the ship's viewports they could see it happening. What had appeared to be asteroids, dead moons, and empty space suddenly lit up with light. Hundreds of stations, some even larger than the first ARC station, powered up simultaneously. The display was breathtaking and terrifying, but Daewon could sense something else now. Something his enhanced awareness picked up that normal sensors couldn't. The stations weren't just defensive platforms. They were generators, and they were preparing to release something. Oh no, he whispered. They're going to weaponize it. They're going to use the cascade itself as a weapon. Hana's eyes widened as she felt it too. They're going to force the cascade onto the attacking ships. Force their crews to transform. A new face appeared on the screens. A woman in a command uniform, older than Teo, with silver hair and eyes that had seen too much. This was Supreme Commander Jinnah. Attention all vessels in the quarantine zone, Jinnah said, her voice carrying the weight of ultimate authority. The Corvan attack has triggered our final defense protocol. In 60 seconds we will broadcast a cascade wave through this entire sector. Every biological consciousness within range will be affected. She's bluffing, one of Quan's officers said. She wouldn't do that. She's not bluffing, Daewon said. I can feel the generators building power. They're really going to do it, but that would affect everyone, Quan said. Not just the Corvans. Every ship out there. Thousands of innocent people. 50 seconds, Jinnah continued. All non-hostile vessels. You have that long to retreat beyond the safety line. Coordinates are being transmitted now. The Corvin fleet has 30 seconds to power down and withdraw or face force transformation. Chaos erupted in the gathered fleet. Ships began moving, some retreating, others advancing to block the Corvins. The Galactic Council frequency lit up with panicked transmissions. "This is madness," a Thraxian counselor broadcast. "You can't do this." 40 seconds, Jenna said calmly. "We didn't want this. We isolated ourselves precisely to prevent this. But you've forced our hand. If we cannot keep you safe by staying away, we will keep you safe by making you like us." Daewon could see the terrible logic. If everyone was infected, then the cascade wasn't a threat anymore. It was just the new normal. But the cost, the loss of choice, the forced transformation of entire populations, it was unthinkable. "There has to be another way," Daewon said. "There is," Bora said, rushing into the room with a data chip. "The vaccine. It's not perfect, but it's ready. If we can broadcast it before the cascade wave hits, can it reach everyone in time?" Hana asked. "If we use the human network, if all the ARC stations broadcast it simultaneously," Bora said. "But we need Jinnah's authorization." 30 seconds, Jinnah said. Daewon made a decision. Using his new abilities, reaching out through the connections he could now feel, he broadcast directly to Jinnah. It was something he shouldn't be able to do yet. Something that should take months of training. But desperation gave him strength. "Commander Jinnah, this is Admiral Daewon. I have a solution. Please stop the countdown." Jinnah's eyes widened slightly as she felt his transmission. "Admiral, you're connected? How?" "Because your scientists needed someone to test their vaccine on," Daewon said. "And it works. We can give people a choice now. Transform or resist. Please let us try this before you take away their free will." Jinnah was silent for a moment. 20 seconds. "Please," Hana added her voice to Daewon's plea. "This is what you wanted, isn't it? A cure, a way to rejoin the galaxy? We have it now. Don't throw it away for revenge." 15 seconds. "This isn't revenge, Dr. Hana, this is survival." Another voice joined the conversation. It was Minho, a human ambassador Daewon hadn't met before. He appeared on screen, his face kind but firm. "Commander, I understand your fear," Minho said. "But look at what we've accomplished here. Non-humans survived the cascade, adapted to it, helped us understand it better. This admiral came here breaking our rules, yes, but perhaps he broke the right rules." 10 seconds. The Corvin fleet opened fire on the barrier. Energy beams that could crack planets splashed harmlessly against the human defenses. But their aggression made Jinnah's finger hover over the activation button. 5 seconds. "I'm sorry, Ambassador. The galaxy made its choice when it attacked us." "Then I invoke command override," a new voice said. It was Teo. "Commander Jinnah, as field commander of the defense fleet, I'm taking responsibility for this sector." "Stand down the cascade wave," Jinnah looked shocked. "Commander Teo, you don't have the authority." "I do, under emergency protocols," Teo said. "And I'm using it. Because the Admiral is right. We've fought for 300 years to find a cure so we could make contact again. Now we have it. If we attack now, if we force the transformation, we become the monsters the galaxy fears." Jinnah's hand moved away from the button. The countdown stopped at 2 seconds. "Very well, Commander," she said. "But if this fails, the responsibility is yours." "Accepted," Teo said. He turned to Bora. "Doctor, broadcast your vaccine. All stations, all frequencies. Let the galaxy decide." Bora worked quickly, uploading the vaccine data to the human network. Within seconds, every ship in the sector received it. Instructions on how to prevent cascade infection, how to interact with humans safely, how to choose transformation if desired or immunity if preferred. The Corvin fleet, receiving the data, suddenly stopped firing. Confusion rippled through their ranks. Daewon broadcast on all frequencies, his enhanced voice reaching every ship. "This is Admiral Daewon of the Valorian Empire. I broke the rule. I entered human space against 3 centuries of protocol. And yes, my crew and I were infected with the cascade. But we survived. We adapted. And now because of what happened to us, humans have developed a vaccine." He paused, feeling the attention of thousands of beings focused on him. The humans left to protect us. They sacrificed contact with the galaxy because they didn't want to change us against our will. That's not the action of monsters. That's the action of people who care deeply about consent and free will. Hana spoke next. "I'm Dr. Hana, xenoarchaeologist. I've studied human culture my entire life. Now I've experienced human consciousness firsthand. Yes, it changed me. But I'm still me. I'm still who I was, just more. The cascade isn't a disease. It's an evolution, and now you can choose whether to take that step or not. Minho's face appeared on screen, addressing the galaxy.